Hi guys, and welcome back to Housewives 101. Today we're going to be talking about Housewives and headlines, what we've been seeing in the headlines the last couple of days from all of our favorite Bravo Housewives and Bravocon and the Real Housewives of Miami. We can talk Salt Lake City if you guys want to, and of course New Jersey. Make sure that you guys put in the comments where you're from. I'm streaming live on both of my YouTube channels and Twitter. So if you are new to Housewives 411, then make sure that you go and hit the follow button. That's my new channel. I had to start over fresh and new. So yeah. Hi Maria, how are you? I hope you guys are good today. Are you ready to talk gossip? There's a lot in the headlines. New Jersey's in the headlines. John Fuda did that interview with Kim D. That was really, really big on the internet. Mary Crosby's son has been in the internet in the headlines. Also, Croy and Wig. There's a content creator on TikTok, and she calls her wig Big Wig and Little Wig. And so I'm going to call her Wig too. Kim Zolciak. She calls her Wig. So they were out celebrating their anniversary and spending big money to do it at like a really fancy restaurant. And of course, Kim was like showing everyone, and people are, of course, commenting about it. And then I want to talk about Jen Fessler and Jackie Goldschneider and this feud with Margaret, and how Jackie is going to navigate a podcast with Jen Fessler, who confesses her undying love to, like, basically to Margaret, her undying faithfulness, loyalty, everything to Margaret. And if Jackie and Margaret aren't getting along, how's that going to work? And then also, if you guys didn't know, Tamra and Teddy are going to be producers on the podcast, Jackie and Jennifer's podcast. Tamra hates Teresa. So you're telling me you're going to have an executive producer that hates Teresa, and you're going to have a co-host that loves Margaret. Does that make sense to anyone? I'm just asking. I like Jackie. I want to like her, but like, I think we got to either Jen Fessler needs to like, go back to the dark side, or fully move over to Team Teresa. It's one or the other. You can't be in the middle, right? In my opinion, my thoughts. Also, a lot of talk about the hacklers, the cacklers, whatever you want to call them, the people that were allegedly paid. They were already at BravoCon, but they were paid. They were kind of picked out of line to get some extra cash and go in and be like a Bravo super fan and cheer on, Melissa as if you're her biggest fan, and make sure you boo Teresa, but do it in a friendly way. Allegedly, those were some of the instructions that were making circulation around. Somebody posted on Twitter that they were at BravoCon, and it was like an assistant or something that was coming around when because people still had to wait in line. Even if they were VIP, they would wait in line like outside of the conference room, so that when they got in, they could get the best seats. So the assistant would go while the people were already in line to go to the New Jersey panel. So they're already going. And basically, like, yeah, hey, does anyone not have a moral compass? We're looking for people that don't have a moral compass. Anyone that has no human decency, we want you on our team. Okay, awesome. I swear. Reese says, not everyone hates Teresa. She's successful and people hate that. I agree. Mia says, Jackie and Jen. Sorry to be careful with my phone today, my holder. A decoy for the opposite team. Do you think so? Because I feel like Jackie and Margaret could really, I think maybe it didn't start out super organic, but I think when they started doing press originally, when this happened, they were each telling the press that, they were going to talk bad about each other, and they have nothing bad to say. Margaret's like, I don't have anything bad to say about Jackie. I love her. And like, they were being so nice to each other, too nice to each other. And now I feel like at BravoCon, we're getting a different sort of feel, because I feel like the more mad Margaret gets at Teresa, the more she's going to feel like Jackie should be on her team versus Teresa's team. You know what I mean? In my opinion. The podcast bothers me for some reason. I don't understand how Tamra is going to be executive producer. Also, if you guys don't know, Tamra and Teddy have a podcast, Two T's in a Pod, right? Well, the New Jersey, I don't have it exactly in front of me, but it's something like Two J's in New Jersey. It's something real original like that. Yeah. And just saying. Do you guys have any questions about New Jersey? We know it was also Parents' Weekend, and the girls, the sisters, went up and visited the daughter in Michigan. Jackie needs someone to fight to make herself relevant. She also said that she really liked Teresa once she got a chance to like meet her and get to know her, instead of having Margaret in her ear telling her, you know, that Teresa was a bad person. Mary's faith journey says, I think it's weird how Margaret said on an interview at BravoCon red carpet that she isn't taking responsibility for what happened next season. Well, okay then, Margaret. Don't take responsibility then, I guess. Jeez. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about... There's a Radar Online article going about Erica Girardi and her draining Tom's estate. Also, I wanted to talk about Larsa. Larsa from the Real Housewives of Miami coming out and basically telling everyone about Gertie's breast cancer. Not good. Mia says Judas is going to fight with Buddha. Jennifer's going to fight with Danielle, and Jackie's going to fight with Marge. You're 100% right, Mia. I agree with you. But I just don't think that Teresa should be fighting with John Fuda. I don't know why he did an interview and not Rachel. Like, it confuses me on who the housewife is, honestly. I don't understand why we got a tiny clip from season 14. We don't even have a release date, and you're out here talking about the episode as if the season's ready to go and it's already aired or aired last week. Like, is it that big of a deal? I mean, I'm just saying, like, is that really what is that your storyline? And it's so important that you're, you know, going on a podcast to really drive that point home. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Yo-Yo. We were just talking about the Real Housewives in New Jersey and how, just chatting about New Jersey and the cacklers and how Jennifer and Jen Fessler and Jackie are doing a podcast, and Tamra is going to be executive producer, and Jen Fessler has an undying faithfulness to Margaret. So how is that going to work for Jackie? Alan says, hey, Alan. Oh, I miss you. Hi. I want all the men in New Jersey to go. So, Alan, I actually did a TikTok about this because I said that I was seeing a lot of comments where people were like, the men in New Jersey have too loud of a voice. They have too much of a voice for the franchise. And I think that John Fuda going on Kim D's podcast is what sort of initiated people to really come out and eventually say it. Because at one time, people used to love the house husbands, and Bravo was going to monetize the hell out of that. But I think that with, you know, the men getting exposed and Margaret and Joe having, you know, a too long relationship while they were both married, and you know, Frank, he was more of Dolores's friend on the show, not necessarily a romantic partner. Jacob says Bravo probably wasn't allowed to. John goes to, I understand that, but they still, John should have been ashamed of how he used his son and his mother for a storyline, and it's all for fame. Yeah, I think that it's pretty, the girl's down and out, guys. Like, she's already incarcerated. I don't think that you can get any more indigent, any more down and out than when you're incarcerated. And you have, like, you don't think you have much of a voice before you go to prison. You certainly don't have a voice when you're inside the prison, okay? I mean, seriously. So it's like they took advantage in my opinion, or allegedly, of the situation, because she was incarcerated when they filmed it, and she was incarcerated when most of it aired. So when she got out, that's when she got in touch with the actual blogger. But she also did an interview from prison with Diana from the Sun, because she was watching it. I mean, you know what's going on like, you have people, tell you what's going on. You don't have cable or whatever. But, I mean, some places do, but I don't know if New Jersey is. But like, they're watching it. They know what's going on. Like, and they just kicked her while she was down, while she was in prison. Like, you gotta be some not a good person to, like, talk shit on someone that when they're in prison and they're like your son's mother. And again, guys, I don't think people factor in the significance between like the mom leaving the child. It's like different. And I'm not trying to be like biased or sexist or nothing. Like, it's just a different dynamic. Like, children want their mother for whatever, they cry for their mother in visitation. They cry on the phone for their, maybe when they see dad, they're excited and they're sad to leave him, but not like they are when they have to leave their mother. So I think that all of us who have mothers can agree that we don't want anyone talking about, we might be allowed to say what we want about our mothers, but we don't want other people talking bad about them, right? I mean, look at the Real Housewives of New York. Sai, her mom was an alcoholic who died on a park bench, and she said that the most takeaway that she has is that she has to tell people that her mom was a good person, and that just because she was an alcoholic didn't mean that she was a bad person or even like a bad mom to her up until she was like in her 20s. So this is, to me, Fuda is pretending to be a great parent but kept calling his son the kid. Yeah, yo, you're right, he did. And then he also talks about being a DILF. I mean, I knew the term existed, but I never really heard people use it. I mean, it's a MILF, right? It's like a mother I would like to F, and a DILF is a dad I would like to. So he said he's been waiting to be a DILF his whole life, and he can't wait to take his kid to college. Crazy. I want to see. Yo-Yo made a comment earlier, and I didn't see it, and it said something. It was gossip. It was gossip. Where is it? Did you hear the real Andy said he was sitting by some hecklers? Yes. And there are also people that tweeted, because like I said, guys, they said if you were in line to go into the panel, they basically were like looking for people. They didn't announce it, but they did it in a way they would just like pull you out of line, pay you, give you the instructions, yada, yada, yada. And they tried to make it like it was fun, so that if that ever got out, the instructions, inevitably it would, that it wouldn't look bad on them. But let's not forget, guys, the charity baseball game. All we have to do is look at the charity baseball game to know that they pay people, or there's people that just do it because they're groupies or whatever, to go sit in the stands. They did it at the charity baseball game. I'm sorry, but there's not 20-year-old girls putting Joe Gorga's face on a t-shirt, a little belly shirt, and cutting it off and going to the charity baseball game. What? I mean, there were like women that were like middle-aged, that just had like an envy bedazzled shirt on, and they weren't like real. And they were all in the same vicinity. Like, I mean, all of their biggest fans were just like right in one spot. And also, guys, there's actually a clip, I am gonna have to go look for it, of Joe Gorga, and this is what Bravo does that's like shitty. He was like walking up to the charity baseball game, and basically they were pushing people close to him to make it look like he was being bum rushed with people and fans, and then the camera was like right on him, right? And there's like people that are dressed in black, just like black pants, black collared shirt, and they're kind of like on the perimeter, so you're not even really sure who they're with or what they're doing, but they're actually like helping to push people up to Joe, get them, excite, push, and give it the look that he's like being jumped by fans, and they're so happy to see him. No, they weren't. I think that will air. Let's see here. new. Yes, Alan, I do have a TikTok. And I think it's like HW_historian. I'll have to double check for you and I will get it to you. The real Andy heard the hecklers talk about, yes, that they were paid into themselves. The real Andy, you know, he was there. And he's not the only one. We keep hearing the, you know, the same story. And we know that they love gift cards, right? Like the dark side, they love a good gift card, right? So if you love a good gift card, those are your people, okay? Like I said, they're looking for people that like gift cards, have no human decency, and no moral compass. They will love you. If that is you, they will love you. This says, if you look at the instructions, one says, channel your inner diva, which is what some women told the models at her fashion show. It's on RHONJ, so I ain't lying. That's funny. Mia, wait, Jamie, what's Melissa losing her mind over? Sorry, I'm waiting on Mia to answer. Oh yeah, Mia, they like him because he gives them free tile. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And they're like kind of morphing almost into Melissa and Joe. They real like they're morphing into them almost. It's weird a little bit, but they're like following their lead so intensely. And it feels like Rachel is almost like scared to say the wrong thing. Like she feels like maybe, you know, one wrong move and right? Because this whole kid thing was not, people, fans, they did not like it. I saw an interview on Entertainment Tonight and it was a Bravo producer basically apologizing over their son being part of the storyline, like owning up to it, because there were so many people that were like, you know, this is crazy. And it is crazy because it's like, you're a brand new couple on this show. Shouldn't you have like a lot of a storyline to tell us? Like it seems like you would only do that if you were like desperate. You know what I mean? But instead you're gonna use that as your main storyline, your first season. It almost was it to make Rachel look good. I love their podcast, Mia. I'm afraid she will get away from Teresa. She can't handle it. Melissa Feaster is losing her mind over this mess. Yes, Mia, many people going to okay. I don't know what exactly happened with Melissa Feaster. Girls can be mean. I'm sorry, guys. They can be. We see them do it to their own cast. And I think that BravoCon was like amazing for their podcast and their sellout and all that. But I feel like I don't want to say she like becomes a target, but she almost does when Teresa is doing work with the Housewives. You know what I mean? Because they're kind of bidding for Teresa's attention and time. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, okay, Melissa, and she, you know, Jennifer's kind of like, okay, Teresa, you can be friends. You can be best friends with Melissa Feaster when you're airing your podcast and you know on Thursdays and Fridays. But when we're filming, damn it, you are my best friend and I ain't sharing you. No, I'm just joking. But I do think that the ladies kind of, you know, they could potentially see Melissa as a threat, I guess. But Melissa's very humble. She comes from, you know, very humble beginnings. Like, I think that she is a really nice person, always been super nice to me. And, you know, her husband is he's an agent. He works with big names, Kobe Bryant, you know, Scottie Pippen. And they do have a lot of money, like a lot of money. Like they live oceanfront in California. Okay. That doesn't just say literally like on Manhattan Beach. Like their house would put, you know, a lot. It's nice. So I feel like I hope that she can find a place where, you know, the hecklers don't get to her. You know, Teresa, I think, was like telling her, like, you got to shut your phone off, girl. Like, you got to cut it out. And I think Teresa, for whatever reason, because the noise was like so loud sometimes, like, especially when all their legal issues, it really taught her to cut herself off from like what the media and stuff was saying, and she does do a great job of that. Like, she will respond here and there, but like in the wake of, when everything was going on, when they were coming and going back and forth between the federal prison, all that, like, that's a lot of stress. That's a lot of stress, and it's a lot of stress to have a camera on you in a high stress situation, and on top of it, have the press just running story after story, having your sister-in-law plant story after story, the blogs, the comments, everything. So I think that Teresa has mastered being able to like know that what her job is, who her real friends are, who her friends are on the show, and she goes to work, gets it done, comes home and tries to just, be done, because she has 4 kids. I mean, literally, guys, she was a single mom the whole time, like that Joe was away. She was a single mom. That was over 3.5 years. So, and she didn't have her mom helping her. So, 3, 4 kids, that's a lot of running around. That's a lot of school. That's a lot of pickups. That's a lot of cheerleading and dance and soccer and a lot. And she obviously is an excellent mother, because her children are so, your children are a product of their environment, her children, and you do not hear a bad thing about Teresa's children. They are lovely. And actually, Gia just was on the cover of People magazine, and people were tweeting, check on Melissa. Has anyone checked on Melissa? Oh my God, someone needs to go check on Melissa, because we know that she is fuming. Gia looks amazing. She looks amazing. She also was on like Entertainment Tonight with Teresa, and talking about the upcoming season. So I thought that was interesting. Oh yeah. Okay. Do you guys want to talk about Kroy and Kim going out to dinner and going to the fancy restaurant? And even though they're in the midst of like a divorce and their car is getting repossessed, like, who pays for this stuff? I don't understand. Like, they say they have no money at all, and then like they hate each other, and they call the police on each other all the time, and then it's their anniversary, and they get dressed up and go out to eat and put it all over Instagram. I just think it's crazy. Melissa's confused why Marge is helping Tamra attack her, since her and Marge are cool. I got you, Mia. I think that you're right. I think that actually, Mia, you're so smart. I think that you are exactly right. I think that it's probably that she thought she had a better rapport with some of these ladies, and she's finding out that they don't give any F's, and they will like slit your throat, and they do not care. And I think you're right, because Melissa had a podcast called Side Piece. I don't know if she still has it. That's where I originally heard her from, and she would interview Housewives people. And she, again, her husband's an agent, so she always had the people on, right? She had James Leonard on, she had Margaret, she had Margaret's mom, like, she had everyone on. So I think that she thought maybe that she had like a better relationship and a better rapport with maybe Margaret and Margaret's mom. And so maybe her like feelings are hurt, because she genuinely thought that they were friends. But Tamra is really out for Teresa for no reason, except for the fact, I think, to stay relevant, stay in the headlines, stay in people's mouth. We know that Real Housewives of Orange County, I don't know, did it pick up a little bit of steam towards the end? I mean, we know now that Shannon got a DUI, and they're going to be putting that on this season, and we're going to be probably seeing her struggle with probation, just like we saw Luann. Remember when Luann was on probation? She was not a good probationer first. And they have a really hard time. You want to talk about people having a hard time. Like, some of these women, this isn't being mean, but maybe they have like some narcissistic tendencies. They think like things don't apply to them, the rules don't apply to them. And like seeing them in a situation where like probation says you have a curfew, you can't drink alcohol, don't be on camera drinking alcohol. Whatever the rules and regulations are, you have to follow them. So I don't know how Shannon's going to do. She might be a great probationer. She's probably going to try to bring them cookies. She's going to be bringing our probation officer cookies in Starbucks to like kiss up to her. That's why Teresa asked her as well, if you know Margaret, why didn't she come and ask you instead of spreading gossip? Yeah, she asked Kellyanne. Kellyanne is Teresa's, I think she's the assistant. She's been a long, long, long time with Teresa. She's part of the team, if you will. Tamra also, so a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about because some of this is getting mixed up. Number one, Tamra and Joe Giudice and Eddie and Teresa did all go out one time, a long time ago, like 10, 12 years ago. And something did happen, and Tamra has threatened Teresa with this before. Now, I think it was the VMAs. Do you guys remember the VMAs? It was like the first time I think like Melissa and Teresa had been near each other since the wedding, and they were walking the red carpet and doing press. Well, it just so happened that Teresa and Louis were doing press in front of Tamra and Eddie. So of course they started talking, they started chatting, and they ended up going out afterwards. If you guys remember, they were drunk, they were dancing, and Teresa was like, you need to come to New Jersey. She wanted Tamra to come to New Jersey. Guys, remember? And then what happened? Teddy effing Mellencamp is what happened. Teddy, after Teresa went on their podcast, a week later, somebody was asked a question about who was like the best housewife of all time or something, and they answered Teresa. And Teddy was so rude and so insulting and so, oh my God, Teresa could never be the best housewife of all time. And that started a little bit of this feud between Tamra and Teresa, because she had literally Tamra and Teddy have a big problem with having someone on their podcast being nice to their face and then talking shit about them the following week. Or they'll edit it out like they did Bravocon last year when they had the hairdresser on, Justin, the hairdresser from LA, who met Melissa in the elevator because Melissa snubbed him and acted like she was J-Lo. But then she called him the next day, gave him a gift card. I don't know if she really gave him a gift card. I'm just making that up, but she probably did give him a gift card. And then said, "Can you please come on my podcast and rebuke everything that you said and tell everyone how wonderful I am?" And then I'm gonna call Tamra. I'm gonna give her a gift card too. Tamra, you get a gift card. You get a gift card. You get a gift card. Everyone's getting gift cards. And telling them, take it down. And I heard they took it out of the episode. The episode doesn't even really make sense because you don't even know what they're really talking about because it was like at the beginning when they really discuss it. Melissa Pfeister took the rumor as an attack on her business and made it clear that she's not playing games with Housewives. Thank you, Mia. I didn't know that's what. Shoot. My stupid battery. I didn't know that's what she was saying because I wasn't like completely sure. Because I didn't really hear that rumor at first, but then I started to hear it. I don't know. Is she still mad about it? I mean, Margaret is like, hello, look at what she did to me. Like, I don't understand. Are we that surprised? Like, again, they're looking for people that don't have a moral compass, don't have any human decency. And if you like gift cards, you can go be a cackler at Bravocon. Yo-Yo said, yes, Mia. Melissa Pfeister said, and I said what I said. Bless her heart. What about Mary Crosby's son? Did you ever see these photos of him online? With rugs, okay? With rugs. Taking rugs. Holding rugs. And this whole married thing. Do you guys remember Mary Crosby was in the headlines the year that she wasn't on Salt Lake City? I want to say it was like right after the end of the season, like the season after her last season. And she was charged with harboring a minor. I might be like not exactly correct with the terminology, but it was some sort of misdemeanor that was like aiding and abetting. You know what I'm saying? Aiding and abetting a minor or something like that. And we never really heard what happened with that. But in my opinion, personally, this whole married thing is going to be linked to this girl because maybe if they got married, Mary like wouldn't have been in trouble because they probably have really low consent in Utah because it is a lot of LDS community. And I think more of the problem started when the two T's interviewed Teresa and then the interview Melissa because Melissa was mad that they sided more with Teresa. Yes, thank you so much, Yo-Yo, for bringing that up. That definitely did happen. The two T's did a podcast and they talked about the situation between Melissa and Teresa, and Tamra took Teresa's side. She pretty much, broke it down like your family knows what they're doing, knows what they're getting into. And then the next episode, Tamra says that Melissa called her and was really upset about the interview. And she's like, so I want to apologize. You mean you got a gift card? Where was your gift card to? An Amazon or a Visa gift card? And yeah, so I think that Melissa called Tamra. Tamra basically rebutted what she was saying, and then she turned it around and talked shit about Teresa. So ever since then, Tamra has been asking Teresa. Been after Teresa. So it's clear that she's doing this for Melissa G. Yeah, that's actually a really great point. She has been after her ever since then. She has. She was even yelling in the background at BravoCon when they asked Sheree Whitfield. First of all, disrespectful, Tamra. So disrespectful. They asked Sheree Whitfield who was the worst house husband. Tamra yells Louie. Now you got Ralph on the Real Housewives of Atlanta that's going down to Miami for 3 days at a time and not telling his wife where he's at. He got this random cousin coming on this show that we don't even think is his cousin. And you're telling me Louie's the worst house husband? Girl, bye. Bye. She was very thirsty at BravoCon. I don't know what was. She looked amazing. And I think if she would tone it down and just have a little bit more like depth to her, like, I don't know. She's not passionate. Before she was like passionate about her gym. She was passionate about working out. Like she was actually doing stuff. And I think that helps her to be a kinder, humbler person. But when she is just left to the show feeds her ego. And she's even said that before. When she got fired, she said it's bitter. It's like, that you want the show because you want the money, you want the attention, and she wants the fame, all of that, but she knows that it's not good for her, and that she's better off without the show, truly, but she can't say no, so she came back. There's a lot of DEAD bodies around Mary, so be careful. Don't be commenting about her on Instagram. I'm serious. Don't comment about her. Do you guys remember when Up and Adam interviewed her mother and her stepfather? That was an interesting interview. Also, didn't he just interview he interviewed Lenny Hochstein's girlfriend, who is the other woman that Lenny was seeing. And she sits down with Adam at the mansion there in Miami. And they allegedly are on their way to an engagement, but rumor has it she's not happy with the prenup that he wants her to sign. So and since we're talking about Miami, why don't we talk about Larsa telling everyone about Gertie's breast cancer? My goodness, Larsa. Oh, Mia says, someone said the feud between Tamra and Teresa started when Brandy went on Teresa's podcast and talked about Brandy. Okay, but that was after. Because that was definitely after. And that was after they had Caroline on their 2 T's in a pod. So all that so Teresa goes on 2 T's in a pod. The following week, whatever happens with the episode with Melissa, then the following week they're saying sorry to Melissa and rebuttaling everything that they said. And then they had Caroline on their podcast and they basically talked shit about Teresa via Caroline on their podcast. And so then the two T's in a pod had Brandy on their podcast. And yes, Brandy did not hold back because I think, well, actually, I don't even think Brandy did or said anything too crazy because she wasn't even allowed to because they were like investigating it. And she wasn't allowed to like say anything for like a long time. She wasn't allowed to talk on the subject at all. So, yeah, crazy. Larsa telling everyone that Gertie has breast cancer. What do you guys think? Are we just getting a very small clip? Like, did she warn them? Did she say, guys, I want to tell you this because I, love her and she's scared to tell you, whatever, or don't tell her I told you. I don't know, something, instead of just blurting it out. I mean, Marisol started crying. I think Kiki must have known because she was looking at Larsa like, you are a piece of shit. Kiki was looking at her like, you are a piece of shit. Not to mention, they didn't even see the lunch exchange between Gertie and Larsa. Like, Larsa literally, when Gertie started crying because she was like, I have breast cancer, and she started crying, and Larsa's like, don't put that on me. I didn't know. Don't you dare put that on me. Like, jeez, my gosh, Larsa. This poor woman. But thankfully today she's breast cancer free. So that's definitely something to be thankful for. And she is so strong. She shaved her head. She looks so good. She's so beautiful. And she documented her whole journey with chemotherapy and radiation, really to help other people and other women that are dealing with the same thing. And it's not easy or hard to do chemotherapy or radiation. So we definitely got to give her kudos. And it seems like her husband is a really great support system for her. So I think she is blessed 10 times over in certain ways with her business and her husband. But, sometimes these little things happen in life, not little, but like, hard things. But we learn from them and we heal and we move on. So hopefully she is on her way just to healing and getting back to being herself and a mom. Radar Online picked up a story on Erica Jane Allen. We know you love Erica Jane. She allegedly read her online saying that she drained Tom's account, drained his estate. Sorry, I'm still reading this. He talked about it today, took it down because he got so much. Oh, okay. So we're talking about Up and Adam. We're talking about the interview of the mistress from the Real Housewives of Miami, Lenny Hochstein's girlfriend. Up and Adam went there and did an interview with her to tell her side of the story. That I didn't listen to it. I don't listen to podcasts much because I don't have a lot of time. But I saw the preview for it and he tagged Bravo, which I thought was a little bit like, did Bravo help him produce it? Because it looked very, very, very professional, like the beginning of the interview. So I was like, maybe they helped him and they're trying to do this to get Miami back in the headlines. Or do you think that like it was just an authentic, connection between Up and Adam and her, and he just went there to do the interview because he also did marry Crosby's mom and stepdad. He flew there, but this mistress, I don't know. Larsa should not have said it. I love Jamie. Jamie's like, I ain't even playing around. Larsa should not have said it. Gertie is beautiful, and I hope she stays well too. Absolutely, Larsa. I don't know what I think of her. I think that she is like a Kardashian and that there's not a lot of depth there. There's not a lot of like passion. You know what I mean? I think that's why we don't really see her businesses like succeed. If you guys remember, she like not succeed, but like really like take off. She had beautiful jewelry, but it was like higher end beautiful jewelry. And it's like really rich people aren't that impressed with you. So I also I have like a contact, a source, if you will, who hung out. Well, Scottie Pippen was basically like her mother's brother. And they knew him way before he was like a big basketball player. And so they hung out all of their lives and they would take like family vacations to Mexico and stuff. And she talked about how rude Larsa was. Like Larsa was never nice. And Like they would be on vacation and she just wasn't nice to anyone really. She was always kind of like uppity. And if you guys watch the show, like the first season, she talks about, I think, firing her nanny for not cooking the rice right. I mean, she tried to tell us she's having sex 4 times a night for 20 years with Scotty. Come on, girl. Also, I like to let you guys know because I don't think you guys get the full effect of the fact that this rapper called Future, who was married to Sierra, he wrote a song that was titled, I Just Effed Your Girl in My Gucci Shoes, or with my Gucci shoes on. And he's talking about Larsa, allegedly. And he's allegedly talking to Scotty. Like, I just effed your girl with my Gucci shoes on. So then he proceeds to do an interview. And he says that they're doing it. They're in the rooftop penthouse suite up above the glass. And they're doing it. And he was like, and I just really was live that moment. You know, I just live in that moment. And he's like, and afterwards I went right into the studio and I was like, something, iced tea, something. And he like came out with this amazing song, which ended up, I think, being like a pretty big song on his album. And, you know, it was popular, but it was allegedly about Larsa and Scotty. You know, guys, they didn't have a great divorce either. I thought that it was crazy because there was like 911 calls from their I'm sorry, guys. There was 911 calls from their house during the divorce. And it was her like crying. She also mentioned once that Scotty was the punisher in the family, and that's a term that's commonly used in like a domestic relationship where one partner feels superior to the other and thinks that they need to punish their partner for like they're their parent, literally, like not a healthy thing. And she was with him for a very long time. I don't know. They were never spend more than 3 nights apart either, is what she said. Because she was on season 1. And she was a mean girl on season 1. And I liked Larsa. I really wanted to like Larsa. But have you guys listened to their podcast? You know, Larsa was hanging out with Melissa too. Yep. She was like in New York for something. And I don't know if they weren't into each other. They had plans. I'm not sure, but they were taking photos together. And that's right when Larsa came out with her podcast with Michael Jordan's son. I bet his parents love that. Michael Jordan loves that. Did you guys watch the biography Michael Jordan did on Netflix? He does not love Scotty. He does not love Larsa. He certainly does not want Larsa sleeping with his son. I'm going to tell you that now. Okay? His mom don't. He don't. The grandparents don't. The cousins don't. The brothers and sisters. Nobody wants him sleeping with Larsa, dating, marrying her. Like, oh my gosh. How crazy. Because they definitely had to have been around each other, guys. Scotty and Michael Jordan were like a pair, and they played together for years and years and years. That's traveling, that's games, that's celebrations, that's parties. These are, you know, the athletes stick together. They celebrate with each other. Like, they support each other like teammates outside of the court. So you're mingling with the wives of other basketball players. Why do you think they call it basketball wives? You're lingering with other people. And everything is in the name of the game and, you know, the team and whatever. But you're also going to be going to family events and birthday parties and the kids are the same age, whatever. You can't tell me that Larsa was traveling with the Scotty, never spending more than 3 nights apart, had their kids, and they weren't hanging out with other wives and families like the Jordans. Do you guys realize how much sense that doesn't make? I'm just saying. And then her butt. If you talk about the butt, like her body looks amazing. She looks amazing. She's very pretty. I don't like her hair crimped. I wish she would stop wearing her hair crimped. Sorry. I just don't like it. I don't know if her extensions are bad and she's crimping it to cover it up. I don't know. But her body is banging. She got all the right names from the doctors, from the Kardashians. That's why she kind of looks like she is a Kardashian. And her butt is 1,000% fake. I have a photo of a comparison I'm going to post later. Also, guys, I want to talk about one last thing. Sorry. New Jersey. What's going on with Danielle Cabral? I haven't seen anything much about her online. The last thing I saw was a woman who had done a TikTok like 6 months ago who had met her at an autistic I don't want to say like carnival, like, but an autistic event for autistic children in the neighborhood. And this woman happens to be an advocate for a respite bill for the state of New Jersey. And respite is care. I don't know if it differs from state to state, but respite is like coming into the home to bring some relief to the caretaker, whether it be so the caretaker can go away for the weekend or the caretaker can go to the grocery store, right? So respite is like helping people, a lot of people. It's a great resource, and she was advocating for it, and so she reached out while she was there to Danielle and allegedly Louis. Now she's not talking bad about Louis at all, but she's definitely talking bad about Danielle Cabral because she said that Danielle's charitable actions are being questioned on the show, part of the storyline, right? Because don't forget that she also had the fundraiser for the kids at the camp and had all the housewives there on stage for like 45 minutes, didn't give friends and family free tickets, filmed the whole thing with a private production team. Very strange, okay? Like, strange. Also, the new girl, there's 3 new girls for New Jersey, but there's one, the one that's the Sports Illustrated model. I like her. But she's not posting much. Like, these girls aren't posting anything on their Instagram to like be involved at all with the season. Do you think the Bravo's going to keep these 3 girls, or are they just going to cut them all the way out? Also, I heard that they're cutting Ramona out of whatever it was supposed to air, the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, or she was on like a legacy one, right? Anyway, they're going to try to edit her out, and allegedly they're going to try to edit Brandy out of the Real Housewives, the girls trip. They're going to edit her out, and they edited her out on Married to Medicine last night because she actually filmed that scene with Phaedra at Phaedra's store because she's friends with Phaedra. So literally Brandy, they did a crossover. Brandy filmed with Phaedra. Phaedra is on Married to Medicine, not even the Real Housewives of Atlanta because Candy won't stand for it. And so Brandy does a scene with Phaedra, and they're gonna cut it out. They cut it out. They cut her out of the scene. I think like they were shopping and stuff. So Brandy is getting the short end of the stick, and that always seems to happen to her when it comes to Bravo. Like, she needs a better attorney, a better manager. I don't know. They screwed her. If you guys remember, nothing was going on in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Nobody had a storyline. Nobody was coming up with anything. The best they could do was use the rumor about Denise and Brandy to stir up some dust and get things rolling and get some drama going on. So I don't know. I feel bad if that's going to be the case, that they're just going to cut her out. She's not going to get paid for it either, because I think ladies, I don't think they get paid all up front. Like, it comes in increments too, depending on how many episodes they get. And so you got people like Gretchen. Gretchen's married, well, not even married, but her life partner Slade. And she's gotten her coins. She wants to, like, they literally filmed this. What? Oh, it's going to be over a year? Like, or what? I don't know. Should we just scrap it at this point? I'm so confused. And I don't think anyone's missing Ramona. Do you guys think so? I saw the Atlantic City event at the Hard Rock with Teresa and Dorinda and Dolores and Jennifer, and they looked amazing. It looked like they had a ton of people there, guys. A lot of people. And now they're off doing another another session somewhere else. I don't know what's prompting this. I don't know if this is like Teresa rebranding and getting out there and getting to know like her demographics and getting to know the people that like her and love her. But it's pretty cool. I think people really enjoy going to these events. And then, guys, also I wanted to talk about Bethany, because Bethany talked with she talked with Denise Richards, and Denise had read the Vanity Fair article on the way to film the podcast. So she says, hey, I read it on my way here. She's like, but I didn't understand it. Like, I didn't understand it. And so then Bethany goes on about how who the people that actually own it, and sorry guys, I was losing my train of thought. Let me search it. The people that actually own it, and just how she didn't think things were that bad, or that it was maybe a great, it wasn't a good reflection of what her experience was like. Mind you, Denise Richards probably wants to stay in good graces with Bravo, would be my assumption, only because we do know that she filmed with Camille Grammer for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this year. I'm sure that she gets a paycheck. And the year before, the year that Brandy came on, I know that, in my opinion, Bravo played her, because they literally mic'd her up randomly with Kim and had her go in there and spill that rumor and deal with all the consequences. And then he was not going to bring her back full time. He didn't even bring her back as a friend of. And Brandy's son made a Instagram story. It was like the saddest thing I'd ever seen. Not ever, but and he was talking to Andy. He was mad at Andy, and he was like, you said you were gonna get us out of here. That's the only part I remember specifically that he said, and then it was like taken down and within a couple of hours. So Bethany also lets us know that basically the same people that own Bravo down the line own Vanity Fair, and so they can't really put in the article a real clear story of what's going on because of their parent company. But it's like, okay, but why did they write it at all? Just to say they did? A lot of people also talking about Andy Cohen and how he was very low key this year at BravoCon, and how when he was asked direct questions, he was not answering them. He was answering everything in a way that was like not exactly one person. So also we have the Real Housewives of Miami getting into a fight at the airport with Adriana and my favorite, Alexia. Alexia finds out that Adriana has been talking shit about her in her confessionals, and that she told the girls that when they were leaving the party from Alexia's home, that Todd was on his way up and they ran into him in the elevator, and that he basically admitted they had relationship problems. So that has now aired. BravoCon has now happened, and Alexia is still pissed, okay? And she's real pissed because she made up with Adriana. Like, seriously, I feel like that's probably why she's most pissed. But they got into it at the airport so bad that Kiki was even like, y'all gotta calm the F down. Like, people are about to start filming us. What are you doing? So you know it's bad if Kiki is telling you to calm down. I guess they were like screaming, and yeah, it was not good. Now, I used to love Adriana, but she lied about injections and Botox because she went on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy asked her. And obviously you can't say that she's lying, but she was actually the spokesperson for her friend. I think it was Jacob, the guy that drove the red convertible. He was also a provider that did fillers and injections and such, and her face was like the cover of his business. So it didn't make a lot and she's getting injections like while he's filming her, and this is on their social media and stuff. So it's like, I'm just so confused. Like, mean what you mean. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. I don't understand. So that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have a great day. Happy Monday. Oh man, I missed these comments. Hold on, let's read some comments. I thought you guys weren't commenting. I hope Teresa gets a spinoff with the Aidens. Yes, New Year's in the Bahamas with Teresa and Louie and Joe. I love that. I hope they do too, Deborah. I feel like Trey is many things in case New Jersey ends. Very smart. If her and Jennifer are not there, I won't watch. Same. That's true. Brandy can't handle what she's put out. Is Brandy going to get vindicated at all now? Housewives on that ultimate girls trip have sided with Caroline to something else, in my opinion. Can she dish it, but she can't take it? I know that Caroline allegedly had a lot. She was like going the legal route, and because of that, there was like something that she would have been good for, that she could have filmed for. I can't remember specifically, but they were like basically she had a lawsuit against Bravo, and so they won't, they're not going to hang out with you if you're going to sue them. Did you see when Teresa said if there's a next year episode, even the reporter was taken back? Something's definitely up. When? What? Who was she? What? Do you remember what interview that was, Mia? Danielle and Rachel did interviews on the carpet at Bravocon. Rachel kept cleaning up Danielle's stuff, she said. Oh, man. I believe it. Rachel is like so nervous that they're going to screw it up. I mean, she's like, you know how Melissa doesn't let Joe talk? And if he's asked a direct question, even at BravoCon, she'll give him like 30 seconds. And as soon as he starts to go in a direction she doesn't like, boom, she comes right in and she speaks for both of them at the same damn time. What else? I think that's it, guys. That was a lot of updates. That was a lot of info. Again, guys, let me know your thoughts about Jackie Goldschneider and Jennifer Fessler doing a podcast together and having the two T's be executive producers on it, and what that's going to look like for Jackie if she's friends with Teresa. I mean, is it going to be a Housewives podcast or a criminal podcast? What kind of podcast is it? We have Wendy from the Real Housewives of Potomac. She's creating her own talk show. And I'm like, yes, bitch, yes, yes. If you guys are watching Potomac, put in the comments because I will watch and do a review. Guys, make sure if you are not watching from my new YouTube channel, which only has like 400 some followers, Housewives 411, go there. Please go there. Hit the like button, subscribe, put your notifications on. I funnel all of my tea through my YouTube first before I take it anywhere else. So that's why you got to have your notifications on. All right, guys. I hope you have a great Monday.